Hi everyone, we are starting. I'm glad to welcome you to our HR-director course. And today we have our first lesson and we will talk about the HR-director role and HR trends today. And this is the beginning of our course. Here you can see our website. This is the site of this course specifically. And let me introduce myself a little. As HR director, I worked at different companies, but I began my career from Alpha Bank, and I was a recruiter and a trainer then. At that bank, I've done a lot of different projects like hiring students, participation in job fairs, developing a career section on website, building strong brand knowledge in 1 month in the new city. It was a very huge project actually. The bank was going to expand its business into the new city. It was Chernigiv near the Kiev, and we had to build this knowledge from the scratch. And as I remember, we had to hire like 150 people within just 1 month, something like that. Then I worked at TV channel, Starlight Media. It was very interesting. Working at TV channel is very different from working at a financial institution because in TV channels, there are lots of different creative people like directors, journalists, screenwriters, and etc. And it was very funny, to build this HR system for that people, creative people, unusual people. Then I worked at Wargaming. Wargaming is a very interesting company. It's a game development company, and it's based in Minsk. So I moved from Kiev to Minsk to work on this project. It was kind of project because for me, I didn't plan to move to another country for my whole life. I just wanted to obtain this new experience and to share my experience with this company because HR in Belarus was not so developed as in Ukraine. And that's why I was invited to this company to work for. And it was a very good project. Again, it was actually several projects. One of the most interesting project at Wargaming was working with the Redford company, which is a salary survey company. I helped this company, I'm in Redford, to run the very first salary survey project in Belarus. I personally talked more than 50 companies and invited them to participate in this salary survey because at Wargaming we were very it was very important for us to obtain salary information, to compare ourselves to the market and to build our compensation scheme. Then I joined Preply when I came back to Kiev. At Preply, it was very interesting because working at these three big companies, I didn't have this experience working at startup companies. And Preply was exactly startup, as you can mention it and as you can imagine it. And back then it was, I think, 50 people, I think. And my main goal was to build the very strong culture and performance system to support company growth. Within 6 months, I helped this company to grow from 50 people to 100 people without breaking any process, any performance, and any culture. And actually, we strengthened the culture and the performance of this company. And I helped this company to start its new office in Berlin. It was the first international office. Ideas. This company wasn't a startup. By the way, I wanted to work at startup after I saw this TV series Silicon Valley, because it was time. Silicon Valley was published on some, I don't remember, was it Netflix or something. It was published for the first time, and I was on Malta on my English courses and English classes. At Malta, I have a lot of time to watch this TV series, and I fell in love with this startup culture, startup atmosphere. And when Preply came to me and asked me to join their team, I was very in a good condition to accept this offer. Then I went to work at Ideals. It was a good established company for 10 years history, I think, without HR at all, like no HR processes previously were built. And it was very interesting because I had just 1 year to build the whole HR system from the scratch. I formed a team of 12 people, imagine it, and did a lot like HR-strategy, HR audit, HR automation system implemented, OKRs, and like lots of different stuff. Then during, let's say, these 4 companies, from Starlight Media to Ideals, I also had my Micro Talent Academy. So I taught HR people for, I think it's more than 10 years now. And it was like a dual career. I was internal HR and a teacher. And also now I work with People Force, which I think the best in class human resources information system is all-in-one system. Actually, we will talk about different systems in this course, but this one I highly recommend you to pay specific attention because it's growing very fast. It's super affordable and super cool, super comfortable, because I worked with different HR systems. Like I worked with Success Factors at Wargaming. Then I had Bamboo HR at Preply, at Ideals. I worked with 15.5, with Lever, with Breezy HR, and like lots of different systems. And this People Force, which I helped to build, like as HR advisor, this is the best one. And I think in the near future, you will hear about it from like different channels and lots of different people. Great. In my work, from the very beginning of my career, I paid specific attention to world-known and world-class consulting, and not only consulting, but different companies in HR sphere to learn from them, to read their reports, surveys, and different information articles, of course, and then to implement all these best practices into my work. And also now I help my students to use all this best in the class HR systems, tools, and everything into their work. Okay, now move on. I will talk about homework. At this course, we have homework after each class, and all completed homework assignments qualify for the diploma of completion. Here you can see the example of this diploma. You will have HR-director name, the course name on the diploma, and your credentials. This diploma is published on specific platform. It's accreditable, which is used by more than 1,000 companies and more than 1 million diplomas issued each month. Above them are Google, Slack, Harvard University, Zendesk, and lots of different famous companies. So you are going to be in a good company, right? Great. So here we have our course program. At this course, we cover all HR topics you need to work as HR director. It's based on my personal experience and, of course, best HR competencies like PHR from Human Resources, HRCI, right? So Human Resources Certification Institute. I also like what different famous people tell about HR work, like Laszlo Bock, like Josh Bersin, like Michael Armstrong, and lots of different other people. So this course is based on very solid fundament, basement, and you will obtain all this knowledge, and you are going to be the best-in-class HR director. Today, at this webinar, we will talk about what are the roles of modern HR in business, options of forming an HR department, like different formats, evolution of HR trends, of course, engagement 3.0 and talent management 4.0, business expectations from HR and role of the modern HR director. And this is our plan. So let's go. To understand the role of HR director and to understand the specific tasks, it's good to know the evolution of HR, right? So our profession began from the 18th century as a social security officer. This is very interesting because this role was outside the business. It was in the government. And the main idea was to protect the rights of women and children, to care for sick and injured people and the place. And it was created in response to tougher working conditions because it was a time when a lot of new factories were invented and people worked hard at these big factories rather than working just at home in small family, right? Then during world wars, I mean World War One, World War Two, the main role of HR was to be staff records because a lot of people moved around the globe and there were a lot of dismissals and a lot of hirings. And the need was in person who can manage all the staff records. It was administration of absence, hiring and training, interactions with the state and unions, and of course, human resources records, like basic staff records. Then 1945, 1979, and 1979, it was a role, I think this is the beginning of our current HR role, as we know it now. It was human resources manager, just basic. And it was basic policies about HR, it was basic care about employees, it was basic compensation and collective bargaining. Then later in 1980s and 2000 was advanced human resources manager. Focus was on efficiency and financial compensation schemes. And then in 2001, Dave Ulrich invented the new HR competency model and new HR roles, and it was the beginning of HR business partner role. And the idea was to be strategic business partner, at the same time change agent, at the same time employee representative, at the same time center of expertise, and at the same time service center. And we will see what's going to be next. Like, I think it's going to be very connected with artificial intelligence, with the computer tech and other stuff, like more technical role maybe than now. We'll see. Great. What about HR trends? What we are going to see soon, like within several years? In past, the very important idea was to build the workplace that people want to work for, the workplace people are engaged to work it, the workplace that can retain best talents in the company, and of course, attract A players. And you know, it was Google who first invented this kind of, I call it kindergarten office. And it was very strange. I remember that time, it was 2005, I think, when I first saw this very funny office with all this kid stuff and very bright, different colors. But then, at that time, I worked at Alpha Bank and all colors was just gray and red in the office, and it was very classic open space office without no this entertainment stuff and no relaxed stuff, just table, chair, laptop or whatever, desktop. And the kitchen in the company at that time was something very new, very like, wow. When people came to our office at Alpha Bank from different banks, they were surprised. Wow, guys, you have this kitchen, so you can come and sit here and drink some coffee and tea. Wow, that's cool. But now everything changed. And here the actually, I think, yeah, this is the office of modern Alpha Bank. It's fun. You can sit, you can lie, you can relax, you can do whatever you want, whatever you do at your home. And this is good. This is good. People like it. This is very engaging environment to work in, right? But this is not the future. So what's going to change soon? Right now, companies are inventing this kind of hybrid workplaces where they want to connect people working offline in their office with the people working remotely or online. It's hard when some of you people working offline, meeting each other, having these working meetings, and then the rest online. And being online, they are feeling disconnected from the office, right? Because you're online, okay, but you are far, far, far away from the office. And idea of hybrid workplace is to help people online to be present with the people offline. And one of the idea is just to put as many monitors and TV as you may. So here is an example of meeting room where some offline people are presented here, and at the same time, some online people are also there. I don't know why they are wearing masks. Maybe they work from co-working, or maybe cafe, tea shop, whatever. But this is a fun, this is interesting. Okay. Then, of course, remote work. Some companies, they went remote completely. Some companies, they wanted people to come back to the office, like Google, Tesla, Facebook, Microsoft, but lots of them failed to bring people back to the office, right? So people want to work remotely, and this is our, I say it, I call it adjusted present, because companies didn't want this, but COVID-19, it just happened with all of us, and this is a reality. What about our future? Our future is going to be like this. It's a metaverses. I think you heard about this a lot, like a virtual space with avatars. Every people is presented by their avatar. There are offices, there are shops, and like the whole universe, but in a metaverse, right? And looks like strange. Actually, I don't know why they don't legs. They don't have legs. It's by Microsoft, because other companies they create avatars with legs. So like Microsoft is very interesting. But this is how they see it will look like very soon. And if you think this is crazy, like how one can work then? This is strange. No people, no real people, no real interaction. What else? No real office. But our kids are already there. I have two kids, two daughters, and they work. They play Roblox, right? They invite their friends, come to their home, to their room. They sit with their tablets and they play Roblox. So they sit near each other, but they are in the metaverse interacting with each other and playing. They prefer to play in metaverse, being present in the room. That's it. So for kids, for our kids, this is a reality. This is simple. This is how they would like, and they really like to interact with each other. And for them, it's like very usual. It will be super easy for them to move to this metaverse and to work together. And Minecraft was even older than Roblox, I think. So long time ago, they started playing this metaverse. That's us that are late in this in this new trend, right? But I think we will adapt it, and we will be easy for us to work there. This I call far future, not soon future, not near future, but far future. It's augmented reality, which is interesting. It's also by Meta, which were previously Facebook. Let's see this. Okay, yeah, I think like this. This is a workplace from Meta, the website, where they show their new metaverse, how they see it will look like. This is a current situation, right? Like you have to wear these glasses, they're huge, and then you can interact in the metaverse. Like you interact with your hands, you see notifications. on this track. Interesting, fantastic, but again, not so comfortable. So they think it will change, and here how it's going to look like.
The office without the commute. You would still have that sense of presence, shared physical.
Pay attention to his glasses. They're usual,
There's chance
but
interactions
they
that
have
make
this
your day
technology
all
to
accessible from
project
anywhere.
some
Now
picture
imagine that you
into
have
the
your
glasses.
perfect work setup, and you can actually do more than you could in your regular work setup. And on top of all that, you can keep wearing your favorite sweatpants.
Very comfortable.
Let's get together real quick for a debrief.
Voice recognition, voice assistant. You can work from anywhere, like being in the garden.
I'm free now. Let's jump in. Hi.
Hey.
Project yourself
what do we
into the
think?
room of another person, like being in the real life.
I think it's ready.
Great.
I'll prep it for the presentation.
All right. Good luck.
Which is more interesting. Yeah, you can move
Imagine a
yourself
space where you can tune out
somewhere
distractions and focus on the
in
task
a
at
better
hand.
place.
And when you're ready to share what you've been working on, you can present it as if you're right there with the team.
I didn't like the previous clip, but I really like this one. This is very interesting, very comfortable, so you can check out the workplace from Meta. So you see this is how they see our future, and I like it. But right now, lots of different companies, they are starting to experiment with virtual reality, like Piper Saudi, they organized virtual office in Gazer. Gazer is an online platform for working in the metaverse. So they have this. Actually, I can show you this page. Like here, we can see their office, and if they want to participate in the meeting, you can see here their pictures, right? So they can work in this reality, virtual reality, but also they can see each other's faces in real life. So with all these interactions. Here people. So like it's a combination of current Zoom online calls and virtual reality. What are some advantages of this approach? You can work from anywhere, which is very cool because some people just don't want to go to your company country office, and they want to work from Bali, Thailand, or somewhere, Ukraine. Faster learning curve. You can build whatever environment you want in this virtual reality, and you can teach your people faster than offline. Better concern for employee well-being. They have more time to do sports, to take care of their babies and families, to cook healthy food, for everything. The money saved on the office can finally be used to digitize the business. And now you have resources to use those software for HRs like PeopleForce. This is great, I think. How to prepare yourself and your company to this? Buy 3D glasses, of course, not so like this very high tech without anything, without this big technology. Just standard one like Oculus. Yes, they are big, but tell people right now we are trying these big glasses, but they're going to be simple like sunglasses. Give your employees a taste of what it's like. Like ask them to play with this, to try this. Hold a brainstorming session, probably at your next strategic session or offsite, about what your job would look like in the metaverse soon. Have a group game of Roblox, Minecraft, or something similar. Let them play, let them interact online. You can also use this So Work application. It's free. It's again for metaverse. Or you can try Gazer, which is free for up to 25 people. You can find one of the teams that are technology advanced team, and they can try this this game or this metaverse. That would make a good team building activity, right? Considering next team building, try to implement this metaverse things in your team building. Great. Next, HR trend, world humanitarian disasters and how HR could respond to them. This is really serious, and this is really something you have to consider. Remember fires in Australia. Lots of different animals died from these fires. COVID pandemic, which is also was disaster. Revolutions and military conflicts. First Belarus, then Kazakhstan, then Ukraine and Russia, then Uzbekistan, and I think we will see lots of different conflicts. Monkeypox, famine in African countries. What will happen next? We don't know. We don't know. But we don't have to ignore. We have to pay attention, and we have to be ready, and we have to somehow prepare our company. This is from Australia. This is like very. This is pandemic. This is Belarus. This is Kazakhstan. This is Ukraine. It's very horrible things. This is monkeypox. This is African people. What to do? Recognize that it has become part of your HR life. Start using pestle analysis. I will show you this tool to analyze your environment. Predict trends, incorporate into your plans. Begin to focus company on sustainability goals. This is very, very modern. I see more and more companies, they adapt these sustainability goals into their business. I will show you later about these goals, but let's start from pestle. Why they call it pestle? Actually, it comes from politics, economics, society, technologies, environment, and legislation, which is pestle. P-E-S-T-E-L. How you do this? You just analyze every category and read everything here and try to ask yourself, what's going here? What's going in politics in my country and worldwide in each section? What is going in economics in my country and the worldwide in each category? Then you try to think how it possible can impact on my company, and then how it can impact on the team and on the HR work. And then you do something, you predict something, you develop action plan, and then you implement it. Great. Then sustainable development goals. It's by United Nations. They gathered lots of countries, and they considered what every country could do to have better future, to have sustainable future, not just to use our planet to make waste from it, but to be a better place to live in. And they signed sustainable development goals. There are 17 of them. No poverty, zero hunger, good health and well-being, quality in education, gender equality, clean water and sanitation, affordable and clean energy, decent work and economic growth, industry, innovation and infrastructure, reduced inequality, sustainable cities and communities, responsible consumption and production, climate action, life below water, life on land, peace and justice, strong institutions, and partnership to achieve the goal. Here you can see all of them. You can Google and read in details. And here I put you the example of one company adapting these goals into their corporate strategy. Like they just choose several, 1 or 2 or 3 or even 5, and then they try to adapt it, to implement it, and like to make a contribution into it, to make the world and the earth better place to live in. Great. Next trend: increased requirements for professionalism. How the employee could always meet all this demanding expectation from their skills? Let's see what's happening here. 69 of the world's best known companies value learning ability and curiosity over career advancement and expertise when hiring. This is contrary. When you see this underlined text in this color, this is a clickable link. So I highly recommend you to click it and follow to see more details. Then, in job market that is becoming more automated, digital and dynamic, all employees will benefit from set of basic skills, McKinsey & Company. Here's the list of basic skills which is most demanded in the future. You can see all of them here by McKinsey. They divide it in different job functions, but you can see what's more demanded. What to do as HR director with all this stuff? Develop the ability of employees to learn. Like if you remember this book, Growth Mindset by Carol Dweck, I highly recommend you to read this book. Again, it's Growth Mindset from Carol Dweck. It's how to build this ability to learn. Organize knowledge sharing activities within the company. Google liked it a lot. They once I read that they had 2,500 classes a year per year by 500 experts inside the company. This is great. So you just bring your internal experts to the front of the people and they teach other people whatever they know. Start using digital platforms for knowledge sharing and keeping records of employees' skills like PeopleForce or similar. Evaluate employees' competencies regularly and update competency profiles. This is standard thing. Pay for certification of employees. I very like this idea of certification. I own my PHRI certification. I teach people for different certifications, APHRI, PHRIs, PHRI, GPHR, because I know when you learn certification or when you prepare yourself for certification exam, you learn a lot of new stuff, you update your knowledge, you work hard. So when your people, when your employees, they have this certification, you are sure they have this knowledge. And actively purchase online courses. I don't recommend you to go to big platforms like Coursera, Udemy, or other similar, because they are outdated, they are massive. Good courses, they can't be massive online courses. They should be very specific. So I prefer these schools that teach just one thing, like HR school and only HR courses, product management school and only product management courses, software development school and only software development courses. So don't go to this mix of courses, which I call like punch. You mixed a lot of different stuff and this is not professional. Next trend: shortage of experienced employees. How to close your vacancies. This is a real problem, and there are lots of different specific regions like Silicon Valley, where this is a like #1 problem in every company. What to do? Korn Ferry says that 37% of professionals say that upskilling and retraining current employees is a primary way to address workforce and skill shortages. So you have to focus internally, not externally. Try not to find experts externally. trying to find experts internally. 49% of professionals say they would turn down a job offer if the company requires them to work in the office full time. This is by Corn Ferry. Next, what to do with this? First, start offering sign-on, or someone call it sign-in, or someone call it join-in bonus for all positions. Try not to save money with hiring and then spend more. Let's better spend more at hiring and later spend less. Retain employees through stock option and sabbatical programs. This extended holidays like base camp, they give 30 days extra holidays every 3 years for their employees. And it's in addition to standard, I think, 28 holidays a year. Focus primarily on internal staff mobility and develop this. Start publishing your vacancies inside. Start job bidding program when people can show the interest in the future roles. Start succession planning programs. We will talk about these programs at our course. Provide more flexibility in the workplace, like flexible working hours, flexible locations, remote work, part-time work, and everything. Use more recruiting automation tools to be faster, to be better organized, to build better candidate experience just for competing better with your competitors. Start actively sourcing passive candidates. By sourcing here, I mean Boolean search, X-ray search, sourcing plugin to uncover contacts, using LinkedIn rather than job boards, using Facebook and Twitter rather than job boards, right? So this is what I call sourcing. Next trend, employee retention and motivation issues. What's working right now specifically? This is a very interesting trend. It changes all the time. Motivation 1.0, 2.0. Now they are talking about motivation 3.0, right? You may heard about this motivation 3.0, but it's changing all the time. What to do with this? First, this is a report by Gallup that only 32% of employees are engaged. And these numbers, they were growing like from 2008 up to 2020. And you know what happened then? Then happened COVID and remote work, and the engagement level just dropped. 36, 32. And the number of actively disengaged people, it's growing. 14, 16, 17. So you can see that engagement is still a problem. Engagement is something every company has to address with different programs. But what to do? What's the experts' advice? Let's start from this. They recommend you to apply human-centered approach to personal management. They recommend you to use employee journey map and to build every interaction between company and employee in a human-centered approach or manner. Creating an effective employee onboarding process, just to engage them from the very beginning and not to try engage them when they were disengaged during this onboarding stage. And for this, you have to build your onboarding checklist. Actually, it's going to be in our course, the onboarding checklist, to help you to better onboarding experience. Determining what motivates employees, and you can do this just by researching your own employees, because it's hard to find the silver bullet for like most of employees in the world. You have to study it, to learn your employees, and to give them whatever they need at the moment. I will give you an example in a moment. Early employee assessment. Don't wait when they become disengaged. Just learn them, just observe them, just measure them on a regular basis. Like use pulse surveys once a week. Most of HR systems, they can provide this, or you can use HR bots. You have to measure their emotional level every week with this pulse service and build close communication. Lots of companies, they invent what? Yes, people partner role. People partner role, this is a role that focuses on employee company interaction and improving this experience. Great. But most importantly, in motivation, you have to start adapting situational motivation. Situational. It means you have to understand, it's like, it's like catching the hype. In different moments, there are different hypes. Something going super, super popular. Something is very demanded, and you have to bet on it and use it to amplify the motivation. Here is an example of power bank. This is a huge power bank. Let me tell you the story. Once my friend told me, "Hey, Mike, you know what? Our company send us something amazing." I answered, "Okay, what was that? What's amazing they send you?" Our company proposed us to send this huge power bank. It can supply like 10 devices at the same time. It can supply your TV for 10 hours. You can charge your laptop 10 times. You can charge your mobile phone 100 times. You can use it even for boiling the water. Wow, this is good. Why it's so amazing? Because there is a war in Ukraine. Russia invaded Ukraine, lots of territory is invaded, no electricity sometimes, and people want this. People want to have sustainable energy to supply their cell phones, laptops, maybe just to have light in the evening or whatever. And they need this because if you have electricity just several hours a day, you can power this power bank and then use this power to charge whatever you want. And my friend was very, very excited about this. And it's super situational. It would never probably be so important and interesting, but in this specific time, it's very good. And you have to learn about you people, their needs, what can excite them, not just to satisfy their needs, but I would say excite them. It's like Kana model in marketing. I highly recommend you. I think we will talk about it during our employer brand class, but Kana model is interesting. Let's move on. Next trend, a new wave of global migration. What should we be prepared for? Yeah, global migration, this is huge. Just in 2020, 3.6% of the population migrating. They're moving to different locations. They are moving to other countries. You'll say, 3.0, this is small. This is big. Yeah, 3.0 is not big. But let's consider 10 years. It's 36%. Let's consider, let's say 30 years. I think 30 years is like just basic standard of career length. I think it's much higher, but let's say 30 years. In 30 years, it would be 100. Of course, it's not the same people, like not all the people in the world will migrate, but rather some people will change several countries during their whole life. But again, it's huge numbers. It's not just 3.6, it's 30, 50% of people migrating globally during their life. And these numbers are growing. Like, see these 2 points, 90s and 2000, no, 20s. 30 years, but these numbers, they just doubled in like almost in every location. Europe, Asia, North America, Africa. If we expect the same trend, there's going to be like huge migration all over the world. And you have to adopt this to your company, to yourself. Let's see this. In 2022, war of Russia against Ukraine, they urged people, 6.6 million refugees left Ukraine out of 35 million of citizens. This is a lot, like 20% people migrate. And they went to different countries. Some of them have returned to Ukraine, which is great, but lots of them are in different countries still, and this is huge. What to do? First, train your employees to be culturally diverse. They will meet these people from different cultures somewhere in their life, and it will be like surprisingly high spike of number of these people. Already set a goal for the percentage of employees of other nationality citizenship. When I worked at Preply was the international company. Despite that, it was founded by 3 Ukrainians, but the idea was to build the global marketplace of different language learning courses. And these guys, these 3 founders, they told me, hey, Mike, you know what? You have to set an objective for yourself. We need 35 of our employees to be from different countries, not from Ukraine, just for us as a company to learn how it's to be diverse. And you know, for Kyiv-based companies, it's not usual to have so many foreigners. But we did it. We hired people from different countries. It was very cool experience. I highly recommend you to set this objective. At least 30% of people from different, I would say other than yours, nationalities and citizenship. Then promote the learning of English in the company as a basic universal international language. Track global trends in migration, immediately assess the potential of talents from other countries. Try to benefit from this. This is good. You help these people, you have these refugees, and you also have better talents. Lots of Ukrainians, I know, they just moved for different countries and they went to work for different companies, and companies are happy. This is a very motivated people, highly educated, and highly motivated to have this work. Great. Next thing, next trend, payment revolution. Where to find the money to compete with the United States? Yeah, because I think now United States and California state and Silicon Valley specifically is the highest or among the highest salary rate in the world. So with this remote work, people living in small villages all over the world, they can work for Microsoft, they can work for Google, they can work for every company online and have this high salary. Yeah, Google, Microsoft, and other companies, they want to adjust the salary based on location, but they are not so successful in it because people cheat. People don't want to be paid by location. They want to be paid by the work they do. And I think it's going to be not location-based, but work-based pay in the future. So what to do? Start from EVP on country level. Actually, EVP, we will talk about it on, I think, employer brand class and other classes. It's employer value proposition, but start thinking not in terms of your company, but in terms of your country. First, learn how different countries are compared with this great service number. You can start from cost of living, and then you can see different charts and different indexes, like salary index, like I don't remember all of them. So you have to study it and compare your own city to New York, for example, or to San Francisco, San Jose, and other cities in California. And try to compare, not just salary, because yeah, when you compete with just salary, you lose because you can't pay so much salaries. And you can win this battle when you have broader view on EVP. So compare standard of living price index. If imagine the situation, right? One of your employee wanted or not wanted, but is considering to leave your company and go to work for the USA. And this employee says, I have $10,000 a year here in your company, and I can have $100,000 a year in the United States as the beginning. This is a 10 times bigger. I accept it. Stop them. Start them thinking. What about price index? How you pay for apartment here? What's the amount and in California? What about taxes? What's the percentage of taxes? Taxes deduction. What about freedom of speech? Yeah, it's very good in the United States, but in some countries, if you consider to go to different countries, you have to study this. What about climate? Is it good? Is it comfortable? Is it enjoyable for your life? What about culture? Do you like this culture? What about language? Do they know your language? Do they know English well? What about interest rate on loans, including mortgages? Are they affordable? What about passport rating in the world? Okay, imagine somewhere in the future you will receive this passport of this country. Will it be well accepted in the world? Which borders are open to these countries? You can travel by your car. What about social benefits? Like maternity, for example, in Ukraine and some neighboring countries, maternity leave is highly paid. It's almost 6 months' salaries. 6 months' salaries for maternity leave. In Europe, in some European countries, in Northern American countries, there's going to be 1 week or 2 weeks of maternity pay. That's it. So you have to compare social benefits. So what to do with this? Compare your country to others, side by side, point by point, not just salaries. Write out the advantages of living in your country, and in communication with candidates, emphasize the advantages not only of your company, but also of the country and possibly the city. Here are some useful links. Great. Involvement 3.0. This is one more trend. If or involvement or engagement, if we are talking about the engagement, actually we will have this class in our course. There are 3 different levels of engagement. The first level, when you do just annual survey report and try to prepare action plan. Engagement 2.0, it's using much more pulse survey and reacting more in real time rather than just annually. And engagement 3.0 is something that's going to be implemented with the help of artificial intelligence that could predict engagement issues with the employees and also given examples of how to address them. And talent management 4.0. Yes, this is another example of how HR practices is evolving over the time. For example, the essence and meaning of A players on A roles. You know, when you say talent management, it's like buzzwords. You often don't understand exactly what does it mean. But to be very simple, when we talk about talent management, it's just having A players on A roles, but in the future, in 2020, 2030, it's going to be automatically. It's going to be not manually chosen and placed, but rather automatically. Also, one more thing, I mentioned employee journey map. This is how it looks. You have to set up your HR processes, politics, and practice. So to accompany this journey of your employee to for them to have this perfect journey, not just very big journey. Business expectations from HR, one more thing. So we were talking about the workplace, about the office, but what's happening again here in our life and work? The first one is going to be flexible companies with no bureaucracy, with no strong hierarchy. Like if you know this Zappos company, actually I highly recommend you to read this book by Tony Hsieh, Delivering Happiness. It's a book about how to build like flat company with employees empowered to do everything and without any managerial control. Then, as we said earlier today, the future company, it's not a company with classic office. It's either company in metaverse, and of course, I personally don't believe we will move to metaverse at all without any physical presence in real offices. But I think that real offices, they will look like this. Like I certainly discovered this site. I don't recommend it as a provider or as a vendor. I don't know this company, but what I do know is that these pictures of future workplace they present here, I really like, because yeah, this furniture is perfect. Like they have this phone booth, they have everything looks like relaxing. These zones, working zones. So try to learn how future furniture will look like with this example. Just an example. One more recommendation. By the way, this is a real office. And I think, yeah, here's a list of 11 of the coolest offices in the world. Ask yourself this. Where is the physical environment of your employees better, at home or in the office? They wake up early in the morning at their home. They see IKEA furniture or even better furniture. They see nice walls, good kitchen, everything's comfortable, good view from the window. Then they come to the office. What they see? Comparing to their homes, is it better or is it worse? If it's worse, why in the worst they have to go to the office and to work here? It's mentally. You can say yourself, yeah, I'm paid to work here. I'm paid to be in this place, despite this is not beautiful as my house. But it's mentally. Your brain will tell you, hey, run away. I don't like this. I don't like being here. Let's go home. Let's be in a better place. We deserve it. What kind of renovations are there? What kind of furniture are there? I mean, in their home and in your office. What amenities? Place to relax. Do you have this? The kitchen, the coffee, the fruit? Yeah, try to think about it. So reality is the closest, and it seems one picture I already showed you today, and one more picture, like modern offices, they are very cool. New rules of the corporate game in the company of the future. They will be governed by the generation Z or even generation Alpha, and you have to adopt it. New rules of the corporate game in the company of the future. Wages will no longer be hidden. I mean, not personal wage, but wages in general. This is something you have to start thinking about. Not try to hide wages, but rather try to build a transparent compensation system. I give you two examples, Buffer and GitLab. Here are the links. I highly recommend you to learn. And that next, try to think not only about the wages and salaries, try to think about ownership and employee stock option plan. Because if employees they don't have stock options, they will leave soon, they will not be highly engaged, and they will be envy if company grows by their personal income and I would say life feelings is not growing. This is sad. New rules of the corporate game and the office, how it will look like. I expect the office will be communal, like more shared space and services among different companies and less duplications in things that you don't want and you don't need to duplicate. Then I think, by the way, yesterday I read an article. It was not Neuralink by Elon Musk. It was another company that implemented this chip into the brain. And this is something we are expecting. It's technologically singulars. What is singularity? What is going to happen soon? And we have to be ready. Then culture. Culture is everything, everywhere, and every time. And you have to think about culture, and you have to build your people, your managers, as I said, leader as a pastor, not as a manager, right? What will replace business process? Of course, automation. This is how people force looks like. Yeah, and this looks good. This is comfortable. This is what people like. So you have to adapt it. Options for formation of the HR department. As a ending of our class, let's say let's focus on the HR director role and let's compare HR director to different people. There are different constructions of HR department. It could be no HR people at all, and then CEO as a HR director, which I think is not sustainable for the long time. Then if we have just one HR, it's just HR generalist, it's not HR director, until the time they hire another person. When they have different persons under their subordination, they become head of HR. If they don't have head of different HR specific departments like staff records, talent acquisition, it's head of HR. And here HR director goes. If you have head of different departments, then your role is HR director. And you also may have HR business partners in your department, or you also may have operations department. So this is the HR director. The role of the modern HR director at the end of this class. First, conducts HR audits, develops HR strategies, researches employee opinions. Second, builds HR processes and HR team, connects employees and business interests, understands the business and contributes to its development, manages recruiting and onboarding on the strategic level, increases employee engagement, builds employee experience, builds pay and salary system based on grading and salary market review, creates performance management system in the company, trains executives, manages corporate culture, creates a system of training and development, creates a system of flexible benefits, implements employee coaching and feedback, manages and budgets employee costs based on HR analytics, automate HR, manages change, and builds employee brand. And as you can see, our program of this course is completely based on the role of modern HR director. They're just the same. Recommended books. I already mentioned some books, but I would like to add these 3 books that I highly recommend for all HR directors. So one of this book more on HR topics, and the third one, they are more about the business. The homework for those who are in this course. For the rest, I highly recommend you to participate in this course. I invite you to participate in this course. Just join us. Don't hesitate to do it. Don't wait. And homework. Consider all modern HR trends from this presentation and describe how your company could adopt it. And the second part of this homework, choose 2 or 3 United Nations goals, sustainable goals, and justify your choice. Choose for your company, try to think how your company can contribute to it, and in your justification, write, our company can contribute to this goal, sustainable goal, by doing this. Great. It was the first webinar of this course of program, and next webinar is going to be about HR audit. I will share you a big HR audit checklist We will talk about HR strategy, again, the template and how to develop it. And we will talk about conducting different surveys with examples of this service, which I am going to share with you. So as you see, it's going to be very interesting, very useful, very practice oriented, no water and no just general information, rather specific tools, specific examples, and something that you can use right from there. Great. This is the end of our today's class. Thank you, everyone. Think what was the most valuable for you today. Thank you again and see you soon. Bye. Bye-bye.